What's happening, guys? Mikhail here with another video, and this one's gonna be a really special one. One of my best friends is here in town working with me today, and he is an amazing filmmaker. So he's gonna show you guys how to do 5 cinematic camera movements with the Canon C200. So without further ado, here he is, my friend, Luke Carmichael.
What is up? It's the Mikhail YouTube fam. I'm so happy that you're watching. My name's Luke. I'm a filmmaker here in Columbus, and I want to give you 5 quick tips to get really good and cool cinematic movements from a Canon C200 handheld. Let's get into it. Number 1 of my favorites. It's called the fake slide. So when I'm out doing documentary styled filmmaking, it's honestly, really fast paced, and we don't always have time to get a slider out if I want to get a cool sliding shot with something in the foreground or just something that adds movement to a shot. So since I don't have enough time, I like to take my C200 and do the fake slide. And it's really simple. All it really is first making sure that we're shooting in 60 FPS. So I shoot in 4K 60 FPS on here. And what that makes me do is depend on my slow motion, because these fake slides are going to look really smooth once you slow the shot down. And it's really simple. You kind of get it close to the center of gravity of your body, and you just pretend you're a slider. So what I'll do is I'll just... And the cool thing about cinema cameras that's different than like a DSLR or a mirrorless camera is they're bulkier. So that micro-jitter that you would usually get from that, which would be like a little shaky, is gone. And I'm using a lens with IS built into it. It looks like a slider. You slow it down, but it's handheld. It's awesome. That's number 1. So number 2 is push-ins. So a lot of times whenever I'm doing B-roll for a, like a mini doc or something, I like to do like a cool push-in shot of the subject smiling or looking serious at the camera. And I don't always have a gimbal with me, especially for this big camera. So what I'll do is I'll just literally do it handheld. And it's really simple. Obviously we're still shooting at 60 FPS so that we can slow this down. And sometimes you don't have to slow it down, but slowing it down makes it look a little bit crispier. And what I'll do is literally just slowly push in. And usually I use autofocus on the Canon C200 because the dual pixel AF is so incredible on here. So it tracks their face, and you literally just go forward as you can get to them, and then I'll pull out as well. So I'll do push-ins and pull-outs. And what it does is it's just giving a little bit of movement to a shot that usually if it was just them standing there is interesting, but whenever it's kind of going into the face and you kind of have them smile or look serious, it adds a little bit of depth to whatever the story you're telling is. So that's number 2. Number 3 is one of my favorites. It's called the parallax effect. It's essentially where you're zooming into an image, but you're also pulling out, and it makes the background kind of move. It's ridiculous looking. I love it. So it's a little bit more complex than the other 2, and it's a little harder to do when you're handheld. So I always suggest with the parallax effect that you at least have a lens that's a zoom lens on, because you're gonna need to do the zoom. And then also if that zoom lens can have IS built into it, that also helps because that's image stabilization. It's gonna make it a little easier to keep your image stable if you're gonna be handheld. All I do is, as I'm pushing in, I'm also zooming out on the camera. And it's really ideal to, as smoothly as you can, zoom, the better it's gonna look, because it's all based on that zoom looking smooth as you're moving. So you're basically pushing in, and then you're doing the opposite of the zoom. So if I'm pushing in, I'm zooming out. If I'm pulling out, I'm zooming in. Okay, so number 4 is spins/twists. And this is just like an extra movement that is unique to specific styles. So say we're using we're like working with coffee and it's being made, or something that's close up where it adds some sort of movement to an object. It looks cool. So all it really is just finding a subject and following its spin. For instance, if there's like a lid or something like that on a cup and we want to follow the lid, you get the lid and then you follow the hand movement. And then it ends up looking really cool in post because it adds a different motion to tell the story. Because honestly, all we're doing these movements for is to help the viewer connect to it a little bit better with a cool visual. Number 5 is the one I use the most. It's called the sway. And all the sway is this. You kind of just get the camera and you just sway back and forth. All I'm doing is swaying back and forth, because what it can do is you can sway and get some whip hands if you need, or you can sway to get maybe a slide, or you can sway. All it's doing is just adding a little bit of movement. Sometimes when I do interviews, so I'll do like I'll get it up here and I'll do a little bit of a sway like this. And all it's doing is adding just a little bit of movement handheld that just makes it a little bit more interesting, which has kind of been the whole point of this. All these movements do are either help the story, you know, be told a little bit better, or they're just more interesting looking than a shot that's just like this. Easy peasy. But the sway, you know, you just get your legs a little bit wide and then you sway back and forth. So that's my 5 tips. I appreciate you guys watching. I hope that you all try it. This doesn't just work on Canon C200s. You can use this on any cinema rig. You can also probably do this on DSLRs. Just, you know, be careful with the weight. Like I said earlier, sometimes the best part of a C200 and being able to use it handheld is it's a little bit more bulky, meaning the micro jitter goes away. If you guys want to see my actual work, check out ALC Productions on YouTube. It's probably linked in the description, as well as my personal stuff. You can check out Luke Carmichael. We're both on YouTube. Go sub if you want. I appreciate you guys having me. Maykel's the best. Subscribe to him right now. Like this video, and then go watch all the rest of his videos because it's amazing. I love all of you.
Anyways, that's it for this video, guys. I hope you guys enjoyed it. Thanks so much to Luke. Follow him on YouTube, both of his channels. Find him on Instagram and Twitch, right? You want people to find you on Twitch?
Follow me on Twitch. Twitch.tv/beardedluke.
You heard it here first. Actually, you probably heard it somewhere else. But go subscribe to Luke. He's thebum.com. Do all the things that YouTubers around you to do. Subscribe, like, share, do all the things. But for now, Maykel out. I'll see you guys in the next video.